So it's been almost 4 weeks since Kevin Durant asked for a trade, and at this point, we still have no clue where he'll land. The likely chance is that he ends up with the Nets. But I've got this little ceramic bird I painted. It's fucking awesome. This thing's so fucking cool. And him and I are going to go through some of the most fun and interesting Kevin Durant trade available options. Let's just start off by saying these won't happen. None of the trades I'm going to say are realistic, nor is that the point of the exercise here. Kevin Durant, if he goes anywhere, will likely be able to steer his destination away from any of these three teams I would mention. But let's talk about the thumbnail. Let's just jump into the Los Angeles Lakers trading Kevin Durant for LeBron James. I love it. No, hear me out. Craziest fucking trade idea ever. The Lakers have no indication that LeBron will sign next year. LeBron and Rich Paul, his agent, are using leverage to say, hey, go get my boy Kyrie or I won't re-sign. How about send him, LeBron, age 37, on an expiring deal for KD, who's 34 and matches Anthony Davis's timeline a little bit better? This won't happen. LeBron wouldn't allow it. I feel like he gets all the league trade paperwork and he has to sign his name on it. But dude, I think it would be so good. So for the Lakers, here's why they would do it. You could do a straight up swap because the salaries are so similar. The Lakers would do the trade to trade in their superstar on an expiring for a superstar with 4 years left on his contract that's a little bit younger. Perhaps they get some more life out of Anthony Davis. The Nets have no future assets, so it only makes sense for them to tear down and trade Kevin Durant if they can A, remain a contender, or B, recoup enough assets to make the James Harden trade not an abortion. This is the perfect option. A team of Ben Simmons, Seth Curry, LeBron James, TJ Warren. I don't even know who the center would be on that team. I don't know, maybe there's another deal to be made. They have those Philly picks, or at least one of them left because they sent one for Royce O'Neal, I guess. I think it would be awesome. LeBron, Kyrie, Ben Simmons, all back together forming a big three. I really love the idea of the Brooklyn Nets signing LeBron James, and who knows if he would sign there long term. Chances are he wouldn't. The whole Cleveland thing is looming over all of this, but it's probably the most fun option available. Speaking of Cleveland, I think, would be the second most fun option. All reports make it seem like, I think his name is Kobe Altman. I might be wrong on that. That might be the Pacers guy. Is the GM of the Cavs, wants to build this thing for himself. They had their LeBron chance. That's over. And their chances of bringing in a 38-year-old LeBron next year are slim, but maybe still the door is open on it. They haven't shut it completely, at least yet. Would they consider bringing in a Kevin Durant? Couple years younger, sure, you have the injury history. I don't think it's realistic, but I do think a big three of Darius Garland, Kevin Durant, and Jarrett Allen is pretty elite. I think you could build the trade package around Isaac Okoro, Evan Mobley, and first-round picks. I think the Cavs are one of the more interesting options because you could do salary filler in multiple ways. Perhaps you think Kevin Love can contribute to this team and be slotted in as the starting four after he re-broke out this past season. If you don't think that, he's owed $28.3 million that you can use to basically shore up and keep the remainder of your depth on your team. If you do think he could be awesome, perhaps there's salary filler in so Evan Mobley makes $6 million. Okoro probably makes $6 million as the fifth pick. Suddenly you got to come up with $30 million. So really, you could do Lauri Markkanen and Cedi Osman and a bunch of bench guys and probably get that. You have options where most teams don't. Most teams either have to throw together an 8 or 9 player package, half of which will likely be waived at the doorstep in Brooklyn. Cleveland has some options, and I really think that team would be fun, although I'd probably prefer for them to rebuild the right way. There are a lot of other teams that I thought would be fun. Portland was a tough team to not say. We had really considered including the Blazers. Dame and KD, I feel like, would be the most fun duo out there. They would have to give up Anthony Simons. They'd have to give up Shaedon Sharpe. And I just don't know with the injury history that it really works out as much as I'd like to see it. So let's not be a homer here. That's the trade noise. Kevin Durant traded to the Memphis Grizzlies for their 3 first-round picks this year. That's David Roddy, Kennedy Chandler, and Jake LaVaria, something like that. And 4 future firsts, as well as salary filler. You probably have to throw Steven Adams in there. Desmond Bane and Zaire Williams also have to be in there. But when you account for that, Bane and Williams are 2 firsts. Kennedy Chandler, David Roddy, and Jake LaRavia are 3 first-round picks. And they could add 4 first-round picks on top of that. Can we just talk about the 9 potential first-round pick packages? There's probably not a superstar available there, but Desmond Bane as a 24-year-old is one of the best contracts in the league, making $2.1 million these next 3 years. Memphis would be awesome. That really shores up a lot of their scoring issues. Right now it's a little bit too ISO heavy with Ja. Their half-court offense can definitely be pretty rough. They're really a fast basketball team. I don't really know who you slot into 2 if you do this. You have plenty of guys who you can throw in at forward, but I don't know who's reliable. And I'm not a Memphis Grizzlies fan, so I don't know, but you probably do like, maybe you do a huge lineup. Where do you throw KD at the 2? Is it like Ja, KD? No, you couldn't do that. So I have no clue what that lineup would possibly look like. But if you can retain Jaren Jackson, who's 22 years old, and Ja, who's in his early 20s as well, I really think you can elevate this Memphis franchise. Why the Nets do it, this is probably the most picks-heavy package available. You're not going to get more first-round pick assets from any other team in the league, minus the Thunder, who wouldn't trade over 9 picks for the player. And you could say that maybe Kennedy Chandler isn't a first-round pick caliber player. I guess he ended up being a second-round pick. Did he? I don't know the answer to that, actually. But Jake LaRavia doesn't have superstar talent. Like, is there any guy on here that projects to be an all-star aside from maybe Bane? Probably not. But you have the future first as well to create flexibility within your teardown. So the Nets do it to flexibly control their future. Why the Grizzlies do it? To be fucking fun, man. They're the most exciting team, and after losing to the Golden State Warriors in the playoffs, can you imagine anything more fun for that rivalry than bringing in Kevin fucking Durant? If they matched up in a Western Conference Finals and you have your big 3 of Ja Morant, Kevin Durant, Jaren Jackson Jr., it kind of doesn't matter who's slotted in at 2 and 3 or 2 and 4. You probably need the defense of, why can't I remember his name? You need the defense of 26-year-old Dylan Brooks. I remembered his age, but I felt like that was a weird thing to say. I have no clue who you slot at the 2 guard. Perhaps you pick up Beverly on the trade market. This team still lacks shooting in a pretty major way. Jaren Jackson needs to prove that he could effectively knock down shots to space the floor. But a Kevin Durant trade makes a Memphis team that has not been fun for very long exponentially more fun. Pushes them forward on the timeline. We really appreciate you for watching this video. I made this fucking thing, and it's awesome, so thank you. I don't really have any friends that like basketball, so that's the whole point of making these. If you like basketball, if you watch basketball, email me. My email is in the description below. I don't really care if you like or subscribe in any way. I'm just looking for friends to talk ball with. Is it weird to smile at the end of these?